And the great thing about having this space online is that you can include reporting that you may not have had time for in your radio story. Julie made a quick mention at the very end about long-term care and what that means for future generations. But what she did instead here was actually report that this huge chunk here wasn't even in the on-air story, and even this part here. So the parts I've highlighted are parts that were not in the radio story. Someone described this as opening up her notebook a bit more. Certainly with reporters, as you're going out and finding different sources to verify the information, you have all these great quotes, you have all these great clips, and sometimes no place to put that. And so she puts it into her online story here. She's building on the radio reporting she's already done. So there's a question here. Who turns the radio story into a web story? Is it a reporter or the multimedia department in this case? So it depends on the reporter. Julie's really good at rewriting her own stories. And because you see how she's added additional reporting here, this is something only she can do. We see reporters at member stations rewriting their own stories. And certainly people at NPR do that as well. Sometimes there is a multimedia department that will rewrite it for them. Some of the things that happens along the way, though, is that one complaint I hear a lot from online departments is that the radio people, or the story doesn't have enough information. And you know this from when you're writing your radio script. You can't stuff all the information that you want. A lot of it gets removed, a lot of the numbers, a lot of the details, because again, you're writing for a listening audience. But when it comes to the online audience, we like those details. We want to know addresses and more facts and things like that, and links to reports. So I've noticed that it's been helpful when the reporters get involved with rewriting the story, with including those links that they already have open on their desktop, or at least making that available to their online department where they have one. Okay, so let's see here. And so this is a webified radio story, right? She's building on the radio story she's already written. But one thing we're seeing too that's working well for our online audience is something that is more web first content. There's no radio component to this story, otherwise you'd see like a play button here. This is very much a web first story, and you see there's a conversational tone, there are visual assets, there are links to statements, to organizations, to to sources, to this company that people may not know about. And so it's Allison Aubrey here being very helpful to the online audience by providing the links that she thinks her user would want. Let's see, with very limited time, is it better to add visuals and graphs rather than rewrite it? What about extra audio? So I would say, it depends on the story. I mean, I have seen posts do really well that is just one photo and 3 sentences. You may have seen this this post that I'm talking about from KUTnews.org, where it was just a photo of a fire, and that photo just did really well online. But of course, your writing it's what draws people in too. So it really depends on what kind of images are you talking about. Or is it the governor giving a speech in front of a microphone, or competing against a written story that's really incisive. It's really about what you think tells the better story. And as far as extra audio is concerned, we have a number here at npr.org where of all the people who go to npr.org, of all the visits to npr.org, 9 to 10% result in audio listening. So, I mean, and that's not necessarily the person listening to the whole audio. It's just that's the click that we're getting. And so and you may have been at the first session about the online audience. I don't know if you have. Sorry, I'll just state what was covered in that session, which was that Kim Perry had a list of the top stories at NPR.org the week that Osama bin Laden was killed, and only there were 11 stories, and only one of those stories was connected to a radio story. So again, it's that user expectation. People are mostly reading. There is a place for audio, and we especially see that with mobile devices. Just curate that content for your audience. And then here's another reporter who I think is doing an amazing job, John Myers. He's the state reporter for KQED, and he is really thinking about the online audience. So he is here linking to good information, to stories in other news outlets. Even saying that. Even giving credit to the LA Times here, that's a great thing to do when you're reporting online. He also has tags. Tags are important because certainly people interested in political coverage, they want to know more. And he updates his story. So he originally filed this at 9:13 a.m. He updates at 2 p.m. and he updates again at 4:45 p.m. So he knows that this is something that audiences are paying attention to, and he's updating it. It's not like he just has it in the can and goes home, but he's updating as the news comes in. And John Myers, if you get a chance to check him out, he also does really great work. I mean, he's reporting for the air, he's blogging, and he's tweeting. Last I checked, he had more than 11,000 tweets, which is kind of crazy. But he has that audience because of the great reporting he's doing, but also, especially something like politics, it attracts that audience. So this is something more of a web-first approach, not a webified feature. Let's see. Okay, so here's a question. So you can update the post, but how do you flag to readers that it's been updated? In the headline, it's right here. I mean, you just see that the update is right here. And why this update is here, I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him. Okay. So just to review from a reader's perspective, 5 differences in web versus radio writing. Oh, so the question is, should the update be indicated in the title? In some cases, yes.